In lane 5 from CrossFit Plateau, Michele LeTendre. In lane 6 from the training room, Emily Friedman. In lane 7 from CrossFit White Horse, Erin Light. In lane 8 from Rising CrossFit Valentine, Michele Crawford. In lane 9 from Champlain Valley CrossFit, Danielle Horan. In lane 10 from CrossFit Bolt, Cassidy Lance. And in lane 11 from CrossFit Brossard, put your hands together for Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet.
1 minute.
The second of 4 heats getting set to get underway. And in lane number 5, Michele LeTendre, woman who won the pool event. In lane 6, Emily Friedman. A couple athletes to keep an eye on there.
I also want you to take a look at lane 8, Michele Crawford. She just won the sprint event, and she's coming in as a rookie. I spoke with her coach earlier. She has legless rope climbs. Thrusters will be no big deal, real fast on the thrusters. And I think using that energy from the wind going from the sprint, that's going to really help for this event.
Heat 2 for the women underway. The score to beat, 10 minutes, 12 seconds put up by Emily Terberry in heat number 1. She came the closest to getting through this event inside the 10-minute time cap. We start out with 27 thrusters at 65 pounds. Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet on the right side of your screen. This movement is no problem for her.
No problem for Camille. And if you think back to 13.5, that was thrusters and chest to bar pull-ups. Camille was blazing. She ripped through her chest to bar pull-ups better than anyone else in the field. This is very similar to chest to bar pull-ups, very similar movement where you're not using your legs. There's a lot of pull going on. Camille, we actually saw, I think for the first time in the competition, that smile we're used to. I believe that was a smile of confidence when she walked out on the floor.
Michele Crawford right now is your leader through 26 of her first 27 thrusters now. Crawford done with her first set. Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet is done. Michele LeTendre is done. Cassidy Lance and Danielle Horan all ready to move on to the first of 4 initial rope climbs here. Danielle Horan making her way up the rope. Cassidy Lance, and now Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet moving on to her second rope climb. So Bazinet with a slight lead on the rest of the field.
You can see right there, Dani Horan actually put her hand over the bar and held on for a second. I wonder if that's going to be a strategy just to kind of give herself a little help before she comes on the way down.
Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet trying to break into the top 10. She has yet to finish inside the top 10. Her best finish so far through 5 events was the first event that was 10th at the pool that was held at the Woolett Aquatic Center in Irvine, California on Wednesday. LeBlanc-Bazinet with 2 rope climbs down here in her first set of 4, getting ready for her third, and Michele Crawford making her way up her second rope climb.
Again, consistency comes into play. The athletes are looking around, seeing who else is up on the rope. You don't want to change your pacing. You know what your hands are, or what your grip is capable of. You want to stay on your game, especially for the first 2 rounds here.
Fans from CrossFit Bolt, the home of Cassidy Lance on hand, cheering her on. But right now it's Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet in lane 11, leading so far and ditching one of her gloves, the one on her left hand. She's trying to hold off DEBORAH CARSON and Michele Crawford and Erin Light as well. Erin Light from about as remote of a location as you can. She's from the Yukon territory. It was amazing that the CrossFit box in Yukon territory. It's how big the CrossFit training has gotten. And now Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet struggling on this third rope climb.
That's a shame. Oh, she was right there. You can see the fight in her face. She wanted to hold on, but anybody that's been up there knows that feeling. Your arms just tell you no, and your head says, I want to get there. It's one more pull. Just as we saw Kristen Clever take the gloves off. Really, gloves don't help. It creates something else for your grip, and it makes the rope thicker. It never helps. If you were ripped up, that's the only time when gloves are really smart. Obviously, they were using it so that on the way down, they weren't ripping up their hands.
Emily Friedman in the orange. She is in first place. Erin Light right next to her in the red, trying to chase her down. Danielle Horan is now on her second set of thrusters as well. So Friedman taking a break from the barbell. She's through 8 reps, chalking her hands and getting back to her set of 21. Meanwhile, Danielle Horan has passed Friedman and moved into first place. Erin Light is now in third. Carla Nunez da Costa in fourth, battling with Deborah Carson.
Friedman has nice speed on the bar. Even though she chose to break up these thrusters, she still has nice speed on the bar.
Emily Friedman was a college softball player at Cal, and she was actually drafted by the Chicago Bandits of the National Pro Fast Pitch League. She finished third in the Southeast.
Not your typical softball physique at all.
Friedman through 16 reps. She's back in first place. Danielle Horan in second. And now Deborah Carson gaining ground, has moved into third. Erin Light back on the barbell. So 4 women now within striking distance of the second place spot. But Emily Friedman continues to widen the lead over Danielle Horan. Now Friedman through 21 repetitions as Carla Nunez da Costa gets to work on her set of 21. And Deborah Carson going through her set of 21 as well.
We always talk about how these athletes and these women make the movements look so easy. The thrusters, 65 pounds, it's not heavy for them, but the thrusters take a lot out of you. It really does. It's a high metabolic event, a movement that just gets the lungs fired up, and you breathe hard when you put that bar down.
Friedman through her first rope climb on her set of 3. She is your leader. We're past the halfway point. It's a 10-minute time cap. The score to beat, 10 minutes, 12 seconds. That was put up by Emily Terberry in the first heat. This is the second of 4 heats, the 6th of 12 scored events here at the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games. And Emily Friedman on her second of 3 rope climbs. And she makes the touch, slides down, and she will move on to rope climb number 3 before getting back to the barbell and 15 thrusters. In lane 9, that's Danielle Horan. She was first in the Northeast.
She's just whipping her body up there. You know, it's really hard to learn skills on the fly. Dani Horan has played around with legless rope climbs. There was a bunch of women that attended a clinic with Telena Fortunato. There's a lot of women, and they saw legless rope climbs there. But I spoke with Dani, and she said that she just has a knack for picking things up quickly. And for any athlete out here, they all can pick things up rather quickly. So even if they haven't played around a lot with these legless rope climbs, it's something that as they continue to practice them, they will get them.
Emily Friedman now on rope climb number 3. And she will move back to the barbell for 15 more thrusters, and now widening her lead over Deborah Carson, Danielle Horan, and Erin Light.
Very smart pacing. She knows what she's doing, and that's really important. As I said, the athletes might pick up this skill, but they have to have the strength in their forearms to be able to maintain that. Once they get the skill, it's no good if their forearms can't hold up and they don't know what timing they should be and when they should get back up on that rope.
Approaching the 7-minute mark, 3 minutes to go before we hit the 10-minute time cap. Deborah Carson now in a tie for second with Danielle Horan on her second of 3 rope climbs. Emily Friedman, 5 reps to go before she completes her 15 thrusters. Time to beat, the score to beat, 10 minutes, 12 seconds. Emily Terberry currently owns that, and Deborah Carson comes crashing down off the rope. But it was a successful rep. She'll move on to the barbells. Even though we have a 10-minute time cap, you get a 1-rep penalty, 1-second penalty for every rep you don't complete. So that's why we're seeing times above the time cap. So Emily Terberry had 12 more repetitions to complete when the 10-minute time cap hit.
And they're counting one of those repetitions as applies when you step on the finish line as well. So for those of you doing the math, they do get 1 second for stepping on the finish line.
So while Emily Friedman rests, here comes DEBORAH CORONER-CARSON. She is through 8 of her 15 repetitions. So Friedman getting back to the rope for 2 rope climbs before she will move on for her final set of 9 thrusters and 1 final rope climb. Friedman's in first place. She's on your left. DEBORAH CORONER-CARSON in second. She is on the right.
One strong athlete though, Friedman, being able to hold on. She missed the bar, was able to hang on and get herself up there to make that rope climb count. Very impressive and very extremely difficult to do.
CORONER-CARSON back on the barbell, trying to finish up her set of 15 thrusters and catch up with the woman on your left, Emily Friedman, the leader right now in the second of 4 heats. The score to beat is 10 minutes, 12 seconds. There's a 10-minute time cap here. Friedman shaking out her arms, needs to get back on the rope here if she wants to chase down Emily Terreberry.
You can see she's counting right now. She's definitely pacing it out, even looking at someone to tell her when to go. Your adrenaline's running so high, you just want to get back up there and finish this thing. So it's very important to have somebody helping you out with your timing.
Emily Friedman trying to make her way up that rope. A couple feet left to go. She's got to muster 2 more pulls. She cannot do it. So no rep for Emily Friedman, but she still is in the lead. Meanwhile, DEBORAH CORONER-CARSON is on the rope. So CORONER-CARSON has a chance now to catch up with Friedman and tie for first in this heat. Carson with a good rep on her first rope climb. 30 seconds to go before we hit the 10-minute time cap, and DEBORAH CORONER-CARSON can take the lead if she can get this second rope climb.
This is what it comes down to. It's just them and the clock. Friedman wants to get back up there. Coroner's going to go for it.
15 to go for DEBORAH CORONER-CARSON, who just doesn't have enough pull. Friedman trying to get that final rope climb in before we hit the time cap, and it doesn't look like she's going to make it. Trying to summon all the strength she can on a couple last pulls. 3 seconds to go, and Friedman won't make it either. So she and CORONER-CARSON will tie Emily Terreberry at 10-12.
Valiant effort. She just fought, gave it her all. Very smart to wait it out. If she would have had the strength right there at the end, that last little bit, she gave herself enough time, but her forearms just didn't have anything left.
So you see just how taxing those legless rope climbs can be. Again, these are the most fit and most elite athletes in the world, and they make this stuff look easy. When they run into something they can't do, you know it is extremely difficult. The top 3 in this heat, DEBORAH CORONER-CARSON and Emily Friedman, tie for first. 12 reps they did not complete inside the 10-minute time cap, and then Danielle Horan 1 second behind them at 10-13. So the tie for first, the battle was with Emily Friedman and DEBORAH CORONER-CARSON, but Friedman came out early and established the lead.
She looked strong and consistent on the thrusters. She paced out the rope climbs as best she could. The biggest thing though, legless rope climbs, it's a small set of muscle groups. They fatigue fast, and it takes a lot to let them recover. It just takes time to let them recover.
But DEBORAH CORONER-CARSON did not start towards the top, but once she got to that set of 15, she was able to gain ground on Friedman and then almost caught her, did catch her on that final set of 2 rope climbs.
Consistency and timing is what helped Deb get that far.
So final results for heat number 2 is CORONER-CARSON and Emily Friedman tying for first. Heat 3 coming up. As a little fan from CrossFit Invictus is here. That sea of green, so heat 3, the women getting ready to take the floor. The time to beat